Hey everyone, it's Jacob Tucker here and welcome back to another Flow video. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to add Magic Link or just Magic Wallet to your Flow blockchain DApp. So it's actually pretty easy. The video will be pretty short. I want to quickly mention that if you want a written version of this video tutorial, you can go to Emerald Academy. I'll put the link to this in the description in case you prefer to just quickly copy and paste code. If not, I'll walk you through it in this video. So let's just get right into it. Three things you're going to have to install into your DApp. The first is Magic SDK. The next is @magic_ext/flow. And the next is @onflow/FCL, obviously, to interact with the Flow blockchain. I'll just increase the font really quickly. So you'll need these three dependencies right here. Okay. Once you've installed those, we're going to have some variables here. The first is the Flow access node. So we're on testnet. So it's going to be https://rest-testnet.onflow.org. The Flow network is going to be testnet, and the API key you're going to have to get yourself. So I would actually recommend looking at the written tutorial here. You're basically going to have to go to dashboard.magic.link/login. And once you log in and select Flow testnet as your network, you'll be redirected to your API keys, and you can copy and paste your API key where this image is showing you. That's actually a screenshot I took not too long ago. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I actually have a sample API key for you to use. Probably not the best thing to do, but hey, I love you guys, so there you go. So here's a sample API key for you to use, okay? So you can put that into your DApp right here. And again, if you want to just copy and paste these variables, you can also just do that directly from this tutorial right here. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is configure the actual FCL to be able to work with testnet. So we can say fcl.config, and you've probably done this a million times before if you've developed dapps on Flow. Access node API, that's just the Flow access node. Flow.network, and that is just the Flow network. And next is the discovery.wallet. Discovery.wallet is what you use to actually, that's like telling FCL what wallet you're going to use. In this case, we're going to use https fcl.magic.link/authn ? And we're going to say new URL search params. And in here, we're going to put API key, where the API key is simply the API key that we defined above. So after we've configured FCL, we're going to need to also have a magic variable using the SDK. We're going to pass in our API key here and configure the extensions array, where the extensions is new Flow extension. The RPC URL is simply the Flow access node, and the network is Flow network. All right, so pretty easy. So we've configured the FCL config, we've added the magic variable. All is great. So the next thing I'm going to show you is logging in. So in order to log in, let's just make a function called async function login. We're going to say await fcl.authenticate like you would do for any wallet. But we're also just going to add a couple lines here just to show you that it's working. I'm going to say const account equals await magic.user.get metadata. And on the next line, I'm just going to console.log the account so that you can see that it was actually successfully logged in. We can also add a function called logout, which just will say fcl.unauthenticate. And this actually doesn't need to be an async function. And lastly, in order to keep the user logged in when you refresh the page or when you simply just log in here, we're going to need a use effect that basically just says fcl.current_user.subscribe set user. And so again, this will just run every time the page is refreshed. Making sure that the user stays logged in. And if you're using like SvelteKit or something, this would just be like a store where every time the page is refreshed, it would automatically keep the user logged in. So that's awesome. So I'm gonna log out here. I was already logged in because I was testing. But what I'm going to do is, so on this button, we're going to say on click equals log in. And on the log out button, we're going to say on click equals log out. Okay. So we're going to log out here. Let me just refresh the page, log out. Okay, cool. So let's try this. So let's go ahead. Let's open the console too. Let's clear the console. Let's say log in. And you should see that Magic Wallet kind of handles everything for you, which is super nice. I'm going to type in my email here. Jacob Tucker 818 gmail.com. It's going to say enter a code. Now, the first time you enter your email, it's actually going to have you go through like a whole authentication process where it basically takes you to a web page. And on your phone, you have to go to your email and click like approve. But because I've done this before, it's not going to give that to me. So I'm just going to go to my email, type in the code here. Awesome. It's going to confirm my login, which is great. And it'll say wallet connected. Awesome. And we should see in the log here, it's going to log the account. So the account, you can see my email, you can see my address, right? So all helpful info. Even my phone number would fill in here if I had connected that to wallet, I guess. So pretty cool. Now, the next step, which is obviously the most important, is to send transaction, right? So send transaction, it's the same as you would any other wallet, right? So here's the uconst response equals await fcl.mutate. This is the cadence code, right? All this is going to do is just log my address. And then you just put fcl.authz. So again, like you would any other, custodial wallet, like, Blockdo, Dapper wallet, whatever, fcl.authz for the proposer payer authorizations array. And that's it, right? And so this is just going to console log the transaction was sent. It's going to log the response, which is actually the transaction ID. It's going to wait for the transaction to be sealed and then log the data, right? So very simple. So if we go ahead and click send transaction here, we should see, I click send transaction. It's saying it's initializing the wallet. It says the transaction was signed, which is great. And if we go here, we can actually see, so sending transaction, it was sent. Here's the response, waiting for it to be sealed, and it's sealed, right? And so here's all the data about the transaction. We can actually take the transaction ID, go to testnet.flowdiver.io, and put in the transaction ID, and you can see, boom, here it is. So here's the script that we sent. It was authorized by my Magic Wallet address, which you can see is right here. So all is good, and then we can log out. So that is logging in, logging out, and sending a transaction with Magic Wallet. Hope that helped, and if it did, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.